Hi, I'm Dr. Watson, and this is a little talk about nutrition and weight loss for families that are interested in trying something new.
Holy smokes, it's Dr. Whopper!
Here's what I've found in my experience. There are 10 ways to lose weight. One of them is exercise. 9 of them are what you eat. Now remember that even if your kid is sitting around all day playing video games, if they change what they eat, they can actually lose weight. We really want to encourage children to be active though, so please don't misread that I'm telling you not to have an active child. It's just incredibly important that you think carefully about what you eat.
So put away the cookies.
The first thing you want to do, if you're able with your newborn baby, breastfeed that kid. Breastfed kids rarely turn into overweight adults. Even if they're really chubby kids who are breastfed, they usually lose it all.
You're breastfeeding too, huh? Got milk?
But infant formula, especially a child that's overfed infant formula, can turn into an overweight adult, and it can cause a lot of stress and difficulty. So that's the very first thing you can do. So remember, your doctor is going to show you something called a growth chart. And just because your child sits on a high number on the growth chart, make sure your doctor looks at the big picture with the height and the weight. Perhaps you have a larger than normal child that's not overweight, or you have a child who's really dense and not somebody who's overweight because of fat. These are things your doctor can help you understand in terms of understanding your growth chart. Second thing you can do is avoid processed foods. Prepackaged foods tend to have really high fat loads and flavorings that misdirect your child into craving things that are ultimately not very healthy and can cause massive weight gain. It's better to use natural homemade foods with real vegetables if possible. I personally prefer GMO-free organic things when they're affordable, but in the end, you've got to use what you can afford. Third, don't overdo milk after age 1. Remember, a cup of milk has the same calcium as a cup of broccoli. You get your vitamin D just from playing outside in the sun, so you don't need milk for vitamin D. And all you have to do to get fat and protein is to eat a piece of meat. You can get sugar from any vegetable. So the truth is, everything in a cup of milk you can get through other things, which is why I don't think you need to use milk after age 1 very much. Babies under a year old, they need breast milk, but after that, very little cow milk is needed at all. The fourth thing is to remember that fast food creates food addicts in children and stimulates massive weight gain. Once a week, fast food almost surely dooms your kid to obesity. If you must, make fast food once a month, not once a week anymore. Fifth, be aware that bread, pasta, and potatoes are awesome ways to gain weight if you're trying. But if you don't want to gain weight, remember, those foods should be at a minimum. Some vegetarians are not very healthy. In fact, they're pretty sickly because instead of vegetables, what they're really doing is eating bread, pastas, and potatoes. Grains in general should be minimized in your day-to-day diet, in my opinion. True vegetarians will lose weight and be healthy, in my opinion. And full vegetarians often live longer, believe it or not, if that's a decision you want to make. Lastly, never blame a child for being obese. Most overweight kids are overweight because their family's eating and feeding habits, not because of self-control issues with a child. Children eat when they're hungry. But what we feed them as parents, grandparents, and school lunch programs is entirely up to us. It's unfair, and I would argue cruel, to blame a child for something started by a family that doesn't pay close attention to diet. So let's work together and figure out a good way to help drop some of those extra calories and get our kids healthy again. I'm Dr. Watson.
Okay, goodbye.
In a world where disclaimers are boring one man.
Excuse me, Mr. Movie Trailer Voice Guy, please just read the copy in front of you.
Oh, sorry. This video is intended to give you informative, educational information. It is not intended for you to self-treat or diagnose yourself or your family. Because we want you to make good medical decisions when it comes to you and your family's health. Please first talk to your doctor before trying or attempting any of the information that you have seen or heard in this video. Thank you.